He's both trying to find an angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a roll! We're gonna deflect. See White gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
Beast Mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. Sanji gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Oh. Sanji's getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Sanji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Sagafar is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick under Leaky. They're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. Manages to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Ana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio.
That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3. Melophobia started the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy, popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The 4th one as well. Do they get the ace? They get the ace.
Welcome back, everybody, to another beautiful day to cover some EU Masters Playoffs division. We have Catplague versus Gallica coming up on deck here. I am Mount by the wonderful Spectrion, and we have been discussing backstage some of the fun stuff coming up with Overwatch in general, and the playoffs between all these tiers have been so good to watch. Spec, I know you gotta agree with me on that front.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, if you happen to like watching it, we've got a hell of a lot of Overwatch coming up today. This game, the first of the night. But as we get deeper and deeper, we will be playing 4 whole matches streamed here on CGL 1 and 2 respectively. And if that wasn't enough, we've got the finale, of the Kunoichi... What is it now?
Kunoichi Cavalry,
Yes,
it is me Cavalry today,
yes.
And yes, that is where I thrive. That's my people, that's my friends. So guys, if you also want to come do a little multi-view, some Kuno over here, some CGL1 here, CGL_2 here, tune into all the action we have coming up between all these wonderful channels, and also between the other tournaments. Again, we have, it's I believe Diamond Finals, we have Open Finals, and we have Masters Finals happening on the Kunoichi front. And as you guys know, for CGL, we're wrapping up this a wonderful Season 15 with the rest of these playoffs. But first, again, we gotta talk about these EU Master teams. We have, again, Catplague and Gallica, both looking really good. This is, of course, winners round 2, so they have a really big bracket to get through for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, still plenty of work for them to play with. I believe this is an 8-team bracket in EU Masters, if I'm not much mistaken. Hey, we can see. So we started out with 6 teams, rather. 2 buys, VA Catplague having this one, and Dream Eaters having the other. Last time I cast these teams, the VA Catplague showed they were strong, able to be very competitive. EMPR Gallica played a lot of Junker Queen, but didn't seem particularly polished on it, so they were winning a lot based off of the... basically having a queen, right? You hit queen ults, you get a lot of conversions. But maybe they could be messy otherwise. I think the team everyone's going to be scared of is going to be Dream Eaters. So that's someone you've got to be looking at towards the future. If you're VA Catplague especially, that's kind of who you expect to play maybe in that winners final. Or in that, yeah, winners final, sorry. But of course, double elimination bracket as well. So you lose here, you are still not out of that tournament. You just drop down to a match against Dragon's Gravity to see if you can continue forward.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, you have an extra life in these double elimination brackets and an extra chance to come back to that grand final spot to whomever is the undefeated winner side team here, which, like you said, looking to be Dream Eaters. They're kind of like the team I've been looking at a lot here. But again, these Masters teams in the winner side right now, all 4 of them are so damn strong in their own regard. So as we look towards Catplague and Gallica, you know, it's going to be a fun time. It's still first to 3, so a lot of wiggle room, a lot of time to adapt between maps, between fights. And speaking of the maps, we are going to be locking in our map 1 over to Lijiang Tower here.
Yeah, that we are. Lijiang, a map we've seen 110 times before. You guys know how it's going to play, so let's not beat around the bush here. Very standard map. Both these teams will be pretty balanced on it. And so I think Lijiang Tower is always a great canary in the coal mine, right? If you're good at Lijiang, you're probably good at the rest of the game. If you struggle there, you better have a really good excuse as to why, because the rest of the series may well be very, very tricky for you. Of course, as a reminder, you will know already, but as we are in the playoffs now, there's no more of a set map pool. It's loser decides, loser as well getting that first hero ban. Speaking of bans, by the way, I believe we've got those coming through next. So VA Catplague being the upper seed, they will have first ban. Standard bans on a map like this normally end up being Pharah, maybe Tracer, especially if you're a Korean team, maybe a support ban like a Juno or a Brig. But we'll see exactly where they want to actually take this.
Yeah, for sure. And just for clarification as well, in case anyone's watching, with the new implementation of bans in vanilla Overwatch, we're still sticking with CGL bans, 1 ban per team, no repeat bans per role from that team. So, or just repeat bans from that team as well. So, sticking to the same script with CGL rules, and it is going to be the Orisa. I mean, I can't lie, she has been really sneaking up a lot in the meta as of late with some of the different patches we have been seeing. I mean, you nerf Malaga, she starts to become a little more of that front-end tank to play, especially in the brawl situations of Lijiang Tower between all the sub-maps. So for the first ban from Catplague to be the Orisa, I am really not surprised, and I honestly really agree with it.
I get it. Definitely, micro buffed in the Season 16 patch. Definitely wasn't weak in the meta before. Vestola, obviously a Virtus Pro, was playing it pretty much exclusively. But then again, he is very much an Orisa player, so fair enough. EMPR Gallica, like I said, when I last saw them, we're playing a lot of the Queen and a Juno band to come out. This seems a little bit more targeted. The Orbital Ray can be really annoying to play into, so 2 very reasonable bands out of these 2 sides. I have to wait and see exactly what they've got in mind, though, once we actually get into the action, because the reason I say Lijiang is so good as like a weather vane for the rest of the series, right? Almost everything flies there at some point or another. So if you don't have a strat that works there, you probably don't have a strat that works in the game. But that also means every single strat is so valuable. You see so much variety on this area.
Yeah, and different comps to be played as well between the sub-maps, and some of them can kind of carry over between Night Market into his Control Center, into Gardens, like, there's so much versatility that Legion Tower does offer, and by kind of limiting it a little bit by taking out Juno, who has been so strong, Orbital Ray, great, movement, great, torpedoes, great, everything about her kit, yeah, I completely agree here with both of these bans. And as we now go over and transition to see exactly who's playing between each of these teams, Catplay coming in with their roster, we've seen it guys multiple times, always so good. So we have Mejal, we have Spazzy, Blue, Nubin, and Cadidos as well coming back into the fray, hopefully taking this winner spot and moving towards that round 3 in the upper bracket.
Yeah, they would love to do that, and on paper they are statistically the ones who should be. See how that actually works out though in practice, as their opposition EMPR Gallica have tried to develop as much of a hive mind style as possible. See if we can take a gander at them as well.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
we shall. It's going to be Tropu, Kasuku, Drunk Banana, Adil, and Solar Giraffe. Solar Giraffe, I think, is the player I'm personally going to be watching. The main support, often the least impactful, but Solar, for good and ill sometimes, has been making a bit of a name for himself. And so pay a lot of attention there, because whether he's on his game or not could be a huge factor about whether EMPR Gallica can advance.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the main support not really having a lot of that forefront, carry potential or impact, but Solar Giraffe, like you said, makes things work. He's really been out here doing what needs to be done to help these team fights go in the favor of Gallica by getting last picks, cleaning up fights, getting environmentals, just small things like that, and being able to assist your flex support as well by keeping the team up. Yeah, absolutely looking towards Solar Giraffe in that main support battle between themselves and VA Cat Plague. Now, we are finally done these rosters. We are finally talking about Lijiang Tower. We have decided what the bans were. We're just waiting on our players to get into these matches and start things off with a hoof. Now, I'm just saying, I'm excited to see what we're going to be rolling out on with the Orisa ban. We're seeing a lot of Armatra. We're going to be seeing a lot of, Winston's really good on specifically Night Market. Well, not Night Market, excuse me, Gardens. But, Spec, what do you kind of expect to see from these teams here besides now that the Orisa and the Juno have been consequently banned?
I mean, very stylistic. A Juno ban is going to mean that has less likely, Ram less likely. You're probably angling towards Kiri or Ana setups. I think we've seen a lot of Ana as of late, but it is quite a top EU style. I think we generally haven't seen teams below OWCS really want to move towards that. So it's probably going to be some variation of Lucio, Kiriko, and then wherever you want to go from there. Queen for EMPR Gallica, by the looks of things, VA Cat Plague, starting on the Ramatra. So you've got higher brawl cons. If you're Cat Plague, you can generally stay in for longer, deal more damage. But EMPR Gallica, their ults are fantastic, and there's a lot more room for DPS skill expression. So if Kasuku and Tropu decide to have a good day, there's not a crazy amount that Cat Plague can really do about it.
You're right. If Gallica stays in the fight a little bit too long, they're going to get poked out, and they're going to just kind of not sustain through the fight long enough. I mean, Cat Plague's whole idea is to drain resources and stay in the fight as long as possible with Blue on the Sumatra, and of course, Spazzy on the Sojourn, having these tight angles, looking straight at Solar Giraffe. Can't really find the pick here, forces the shot to be expended from Drunk Banana, and that's nice a first pick going over to Tropu. That little skinny hitbox does not get missed by Spazzy any day of the week here, Spec, and the fight only on goes, but points start to open up. They start to go rotate around the objective, and look at all the space that Cat Plague has made for themselves by being up a whole player, and they cap it first.
Yeah, that they do. Fantastic work so far from VA Cat Plague, and they're only looking to extend that lead as they keep on fighting.
As I say, Tropu does get the revenge pick back onto Spazzy in the back line, and then here comes Kados peeling for at least their support, and both of them kind of forcing Tropu back away from the objective. In the mess of it all, Drunk Banana gets so low, Susu does get used by ADAP here, and they also flip it right underneath the noses of Cat Plague. So Gallica now again has his space, reverses the positioning, and forces Cat Plague back towards that mini room with the mini pack and the Mega outside the staircase. And we're still fighting. It has just been, mind you, Spec, it's been a match between Spazzy and Tropu. Here's these Rampage. Here's these responding Sound Barrier and the Suzu. We're just going in for ults after ults after ults here, Spec.
And the freeze was so good. The cleanse was as well, but it's still going to take care of Adil. Drunk Banana as well, not long for this world. And even though about 30% of the car is going to be unlocked throughout the time, that's still going to be it. So great work from EMPR Gallica. But they spent all of their ultimates for check marks. but they have found only 28% of the VA Cap Plague already have that, tied up, eclipsed. And they've got OC, they've got Annihilate, and they've got this good standing rush. Kasuku, a lot of work to do with just the Dragon Blade.
Comes a Suzu. Here comes a super aggressive Ramacho coming through. We try to go for the Mega Pack. We lose Drunk Banana in the process, and then we lose Ado right after the fact. And that's just from one Kitsune Rush, and they just sped right onto the team of Gallica, and they knew what to do there.
Of course, they can do the exact same thing now, probably with the Annihilation. There's really no reason not to. You're in a position where, I mean, it's not really much EMPR Gallica can do. Again, they have a Blade, sure, but if they Blade in, Blue would annihilate, and you just lose all your HP, you can't stay in. So, and this next fight also probably free for VA Cat Plague.
For sure, and we had the overclock ready for Spazzy, and we've been seeing how good they can hit some heads, but why hit heads when I can just go and punch everyone in the face? Blue says, you see a little bit of I love this flank we got from Spazzy to finish off any sort of kills that Blue does start with the Annihilation. Yeah, we lose Blue, but everyone's gone, and we still have the overclock.
Soldier off, almost gets booped off the map there, but will be able to save himself. Now the ult's getting much more comparable, right? VA Cap Plague, honestly, still charging up to ults a little bit better than their opponents have. EMPR Gallica have found nothing in these previous fights, and now there's an OC on long sidelines. What can you even do?
We go in for the Dragon Blade instead, Spec, and we are able to kind of force Spazzy off that high ground, and we force everyone into an uncomfortable position from the side of Gallica. They get 3 picks here. Can they get a last-minute pick, a last-minute stagger? They absolutely do on both the on the Mei and the Ramatra here. That's massive, but 99 to 35%. That's a lot of time.
Yeah, you only need one fight as well, and VA Cat Plague, like I mentioned, their ult cycles are coming online. What's the chance that they simply can't get a freeze onto Drunk Banana? I feel like it's still VA Cat Plague who are in the lead in the map.
Ooh, back up. Here comes a Blizzard coming in from Ezreal. Can it be enough to stagger out Drunk Banana and disrupt the Rampage from even being a factor in the fight? Yes, they do 1000%. Now they can start rushing on Tropu, being pushed out a little bit by the team here, and the rotation. I mean, unfortunately, Gallica just wasn't there to help rotate out with Tropu. They do lose 2, and they lose 3 with Ado also being, last minute picked off. Like you said, Spec, 1 fight's all they need, and they have the ults to contest here, but the Rampage just a touch is not going to be enough for Drunk Banana to help save the day, even after the Sound Barrier was expended from either side of the teams here.
Yeah, I think this one might be kind of Jove. Unfortunately, Kasuku, Tropu hitting the hay, and unfortunately, just better ults from VA Cat Plague. I think all of it was a snowball from that first fight, right? EMPR Gallica spend very heavily. They don't get anything from it. So VA Cat Plague can ult cycle so effectively in the choke. EMPR Gallica aren't able to make those fights competitive, in part because they don't have ults. And so VA Cat Plague charge proportionally more ult charge than they otherwise would. And so when it comes to the final fight, VA Cat Plague still have better ults. Unfortunately, that's just how Brawl comps often work, so Overwatch often works. And it's not really anything you can do to get away from it. See if they stick on the Wrecking Ball here. It's definitely doable on Garden, but not every team is a ball player. Our player's on 200 ping. How's that worked out? I guess we're pausing, I guess? Maybe?
Maybe it had to be after the start, but yeah, I mean, 200 ping, you really want to play, yeah, they wait after the countdown. Yeah, 200 ping, you really want to play in that any day of the week. Hopefully they get a quick fix on that, maybe plug in a little Ethernet cable, something crazy. Maybe call Spectrum and be like, yo,
what am I supposed to do? What is Bossman supposed to get up to?
like
I was supposed to pray? Rain dance? Like...
He just gotta just pray real fast. Like, can we please get some good ping around these parts, please? But it is what it is.
I've tried 200 ping before. It's like the most playable ping, in my opinion. As in, it's the most ping you can have while the game is like actually like understandable.
Yeah, like, yeah, I've played in like 180, 200 ping before with my EU friends, and first of all, servers over there, everyone's so much nicer. I don't know if that's like a true thing, like every day. Maybe it was like a once a time, you know. I got the good day where everyone was like, "Good job, everybody," in a little like accents, and I was like, "Oh my god, I love you!" Like, I follow you on Twitch.
In my experience, NA people just talk more. They're not necessarily nicer or less nice, but NA people just talk less, and then they just unmute to flame each other. So
and it's great because you have differing like countries talking to each other, and it's just like we are yelling in different languages. Don't know what's going on here.
But no,
we got a Frenchman, we got someone speaking Spanish, we got someone speaking English, we got someone speaking English, but American accent. What's going on here? It's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
I was playing Singapore servers and then Korea servers with MI Blizzard, you know?
Okay,
One
yeah,
of my
my
favorite
goat.
people at esports. And 280 ping, it doesn't work. I can't do it.
No, it's
But
too much.
when I'm on 200, it's hard, but you can play. It feels weird, and you have to like pre-fire all of your cooldowns, like deflect, you have to pre-fire your recall. But it works. Past that, it's the game just starts becoming like actually unintelligible. So if you're on 200 ping,
Yeah.
I feel for you, man. It's so hard.
It's like you got it. You got it for life. 200 ping. Ooh, cannot do it. Yep, we're gonna do a quick restart. It's gonna be their tank, you know, just banana restarting really fast. And trying to play Jungle Queen with 200 ping, please. You knife and they're gone.
Yeah.
You carnage, they're gone. You rampage, they're no longer in the fight. You don't know what's going on. So I understand completely. You cannot play that. I feel you cannot play that character on ping for
You
sure.
probably can. For me, I think projectile feels really bad on ping.
Oh yeah.
So I
Oh,
just
it has to.
I just wouldn't hit any knives. I think hit scan like feels like playable, but I will say the worst tank to play on ping, Doomfist.
Oh.
It doesn't work. You just teleport around the map. All your
I
abilities
feel
feel
like-
delayed.
I feel like any sort of like super mobile character like Doom, like
Yeah.
Ball, it's just
Yeah,
equip
Lucio.
it, like
Lucio,
goodbye.
for some reason
Lucio
feels like you feel heavy on ping. You feel heavy. It's
feels like
so bizarre.
sluggish.
Yeah.
Oh, I would not wish that. I would not wish my worst enemy to play on like 200 ping. Should be just one more minute as we wait on this really quick reset. Hopefully it fixes the ping issue. I don't know. One time I tried for a team at like 500 ping because I don't know what was going on with my Wi-Fi that day, but
Are you
it was
playing
just
from Mars?
not-
Like,
No, I'm saying I was playing from a different planet. I don't know what was going on, and I still got the way I still got on the team.
go.
First of all,
Go.
I was like, guys, I ping is so bad right now, and I don't play main support. Can I just play Mercy this map and call it a day?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, just try to calm. And I'm like, calming the air. I'm calming people flying in the air right now, but I will do my best. And they really gave me a spot. That was crazy, but. Yeah, playing at... I hate playing on ping. I literally just played brainless characters if I'm on ping. Like, I'll play, like, Mercy, I'll play Moira. Play characters that don't really need much.
I mean,
Alright,
you
looks
know,
like we're
as
unpausing.
we'll see,
nice.
when we run CGL Staff Pugs, which we will, because we'll get
Surely,
back to it at some
yes! Oh my goodness,
Then,
please yell stack pugs while we're drunk.
yeah.
Please, I'm waiting, guys. I'm waiting for that to
Rama,
happen.
you can hear us. We know. Lock in.
Oh, we know. Alright. Different comps. We got the dive, we got the brawl coming back. Drunk Bandit is restarting, or has restarted, is back with us. Going to the white room first and foremost. Back. I kind of like the different rotations we're seeing here. Oh,
Okay, man.
it was a ping, Quick reset.
Okay, I think there's not really a point in going white room first fight. I think every other fight it makes sense, but unless you really want to play only point side, I think it doesn't really work out. I think EMPR Gallica would probably had an easier time just walking across, and VA Cat play get the easiest fight of all time because Kidios. I mean, what an easy frag to find, right?
I mean, that's just the Lucio map right here. You have it's a big area. They're walking out right next to a like the where you just kind of jump off and die. It's perfect. Drunk gonna be the first one to die once again. This time to Mejda. Now on the Genji. Seeking out the Kiriko Adil, unfortunately, too far. Couldn't really find anyone to TP to, unfortunately. You know, if it was Stadium, you could just TP without a target. That's a beautiful thing. I love Stadium. That's so broke.
Stadium has too many moving parts for me, I think. See how the shoot up or the walk goes as... Don't walk bridge. Ooh.
No. I saw the free cam view of that. No, can we restart the sub map, please? Can we please restart the sub map? No. Solar Drive, I need you to lock in, man.
This is
Oh.
goofy.
No,
Okay,
no.
Lucio's back. It's fine. Lucio is back.
We lost 50% off of nonsense. And here's the continue rush. Right from the bridge here. Drunk Brain is trying to stay alive a little bit longer through this bubble, but unfortunately, so much power from the dive, and it just doesn't have the sustain to live through it. My Kiriko doing a quick reset, but there's still a little bit of a stagger on Kasuchu, unfortunately.
Indeed. I mean, one of the fights of all time, unfortunately, from EMPR Gallica. I think that's all the really analysis I can bring to that. VCAP Blade, they've got 4 ults. They're set up defensively. There's zero way you could ever walk bridge here because you probably ult tracked Blue and Primal. Kidios can boop and will, as we've seen before. Where is this Lucio going? Where is Soda Giraffe?
Making plays. No, Solar's making plays. Ooh.
Wait,
It was a
he's off the map
distraction.
again. He's
It was
off
a
the map
distraction.
again.
No, it was a distraction. It was calculated spec. Solar decided to throw for a second, and then Blue got distracted, got killed, but then we still have to use the blade on both ends here and the sound barrier, but no one can touch. It was multi-layered play there.
I am actually gobsmacked. I am actually gobsmacked.
I think it was a series of unfortunate events, I must say. I think when we... I don't know what
So
happened.
bad. I get it so much. Unfortunate. It's a warm-up game, I think. They probably just got back from work, school. Wait, it's Sunday. Sunday school, I guess.
Church? Oh, no?
Church, yes. Back from that, and they're still warming up. EMPR Gallica will be in the server. Map number 2, of course. They do have their map pick and hero bans go towards. Obviously, this time the bans on Juno and Orisa. I kind of see why now. Orisa for the Queen's pretty awkward. Juno...
Yeah.
Who likes Juno?
Just Juno. I can't
Just
hold
Juno.
you. Like, I cannot blame you if you just want to ban Juno because you don't play with Juno. I get it. You know what's crazy? It's just like, I feel like Juno, in of itself, she is not a character I hate seeing. I don't hate her the way I hate Samba, the way I hate seeing like my one-trick Doomfist in comp. Like, I don't ban Juno because of comp stuff. But banning Juno here, yes, I don't want to play with it. I don't want to deal with torpedoes. I don't want to deal with orbital. I don't want to deal with having 2 escape options if you're running double speed, which I feel like has been kind of getting a lot more popular as well as of late. And then Juno being so flexible with basically the entire support roster. The only support to ever do it, to be just okay with everybody, okay with Lucio, okay with Kiriko, okay with Brig, okay, definitely okay with Brig, okay with playing with Ana, everybody.
Okay,
Moira, Merce, you can throw all of them in there.
I feel like most teams playing Juno should have a very good reason why they're not playing either Juno Brig or Juno Ana, because that's the good synergy. Like when you play with like Juno Moira or Juno Kiriko, then it's like it works, I guess. But in my opinion, you can do the same thing with other comps.
Yeah.
So I think it needs justification. But the hero's also just like been so strong for so long. Orbital Ray is the best ult in the game. It will always be the best ult in the game. It's just nuts. Yes. Okay. Yes, I see.
Our first map. I'm pretty sure the first map. This is the first real map of the day. Map 1. That was one map. We're going over to King's Row spec. Yes, and just like Li Zhang, we're not gonna hide nothing. We all know how to play this map. If you don't, what's going on in your scrims? What's happening in scrims? I need to understand, because why would we know how to play King's Row?
I mean, my team's a ball one-trick team, so we avoid King's Row because we don't want to play it. There's no point.
You lost me at ball one trick.
I'm sorry you don't understand ball, Mott.
I will never understand ball. You know what's great? Every single time I've been on has like most of the teams I've been on, the tank player happens to be like a ball like lover, and like I'm forced to learn ball comp. It's quite fun when everything like works out. When it doesn't work out, it's like, god dang it, like I can't do anything. Oh my goodness. But I'm not surprised we go to King's Row. Both teams clearly looking to play the brawl at some point. So Ram Jungler Queen might be what we see again here.
Okay, so King's Row, I mean, you're probably going to continue to play the Queen, but you have to ban a tank because otherwise your Queen is going to get banned.
Yes.
So I would ban like Ram. Personally.
Oh yeah, at that point.
I think that's just what your choice has to be if you are EMPR Gallica. And then if you're VA Cat Plague, I would be really annoying. If you have the option, I would ban Lucio.
Ooh, spicy.
Because then you're just stuck in choke and you have to play Juno and it feels very bad. And then you hope your DPS can like attack the backline. That's the way I would plan these bans. But we'll have to wait and see what these teams actually feel like as they mediate on it. Incidentally, speaking of bans, my go-to bans in ranked are Mercy, Torb, Cass, because I'm a Tracer one trick, so...
Oh my god, wait, there's been a very big influx of Cass one tricks that are just like smurfing. Like, is it just me or just like I feel like I've been seeing so much.
It's a hero.
Cass is annoying.
Deal with it. I don't have to deal with like dodging flash. Like the only time I can dodge flash is if I had like a lot of caffeine. When I was like 14 and just like hyper as hell, I would just have to like dodge it on reaction, which you couldn't kind of do. But it's weird, and I'd rather just not. We can't see the ban hit now through. They ban May.
Oh, spicy.
Surely you just ban.
Just ban Ram here.
But yeah.
Or Lucio.
Queen, surely they were playing most of the Queen. Queen kind of still works in KR. That's where I'll be angling this at least. But we'll see if they want to go towards anything else. VA Cat Blake still could get creative with their ban.
Yeah, for what it's worth, whenever I do ban... Oh, yeah, there's Lucio. Yep. Good
Yep,
choices. Whenever I do bans in comp, I also pretty much insta-ban Mercy, and I've been doing... I'll ban Mercy, and I'll see what everyone else's vibe is, and she's like Sombra, Doomfist, whatever, and I'm like, okay, understandable. I can't really get mad about that, but...
Listen, as long as we agree that Mercy is out, then I think we...
She's just out, yeah. Friends. I'm okay with that. I had a Mercy who decided to play Ana, and I was like, ooh, you know what you're doing. Okay. So, and Mercy was not banned, by the way. She could have played Mercy, but it is what it is and what it ain't. We have Lucio and Mei, two hallmark staples of King's Row, no longer gonna be able to be played on this map, which is quite... It's kind of crazy, I can't lie. King's Row map without Mei, you know, walling off that initial choke, getting those free picks off on the tank or in overstaying DPS, and then you don't have Lucio to speed everyone in and out to use those tall walls of King's Row. Like, it's... What, we're gonna see Juno probably, you know, Juno Brig, like...
Juno Brig has. If you look at some like hard meta, Juno Brig, Ram as well is what you'd be expecting. Orisa, obviously a possibility now that she's been unbanned. Yep. These are the kind of looks we're expecting. Juno Brig is, in my opinion, it's like a poke brawl backline, where you can brawl with it, but it incentivizes you to play for like quite a long shooting phase, because you can just like stay alive forever and not like lose cooldowns, not really lose resources.
And as we get our load-ins ready here, we are seeing the appearance of the Orisa from Gallica. Junkman not gonna play no games today, no Queen to be seen, but we are gonna be seeing the Juno Brig backline from either side, which we definitely predicted with the ban of Lucio. You might as well, you need a speed character. What's the speed character's best support to play with? It's Brigida. Both have a Sojourn, but Kasuchu on the Pharah, which I'm quite a fan of the Pharah, especially on first point. Oh,
I like it as well. I really do. I think you get so much early spam damage in. Torb, I don't mind, but this is very much a counter comp towards like a Winston. I think with Torb, you need to have a decent reason why you're not playing like Soj Cass, and I'm not quite sure you fulfilled that like kind of barrier here into the Ramatra, especially. How much value are you actually gonna find?
I mean, no one, you know what's great? This choke is uncontested. I
mean, I like that generally. You're just going to shoot on the high grounds. You want to kind of try to contest the open space. That's kind of what we see. Teams play on more shooty comps.
But they can, like, kind of freely walk through the choke without getting, well, there's no Mei to, you know, scare anyone off. But now they gotta find a way to clear this high ground, especially when you have Tropu up on that high ground along with Kashu. Now, Kashu getting really low here, tries to go do a little bit of spamming through the hotel. And speaking of, I mean, we see Spazzy go over to the Cassie you mentioned earlier and put a lot of pressure onto Kasuchu. And I have to say, the rotation around the backside of the Outer Hotel just to stuff out the high ground rotation that we see Agako go for, I love it, love it, love it. And they're still fighting this off. So we're going to be seeing Kasuchu come back by the time this fight might be almost over.
Yeah, it's a real possibility. Drunk Banana obviously down. You can drop for the touch, but it's just going to kill you. Tropu over peaks. It's as simple as that. And the Deadeye, yeah, it makes any sort of touch just impossible. Solar Giraffe, rip Bozo, unfortunately. The Deadeye and some focus fire is going to eliminate this attempt. And I think on the whole, you're probably rather you just backed up and played Bookstore, because now your Orisa and your Torbjorn, they're kind of stuck on their lonesome with no supports to help them. 2 versus 5, and though the car actually won't get there in time, it makes going for any sort of aggressive early fight just impossible. So not perfect from EMPR Gallica. I think getting a little bit spooked maybe after what happened on map number 1. Echo rather than the what we were on before.
Yeah, and also on the Echo on both sides here is also interesting to see. Yeah, off the Pharah for Kasuchu, and Spazzy is going for a crazy flank here. Can we get the kill on the Torb even after the with the peel from Mejal? You do that every day of the week, 7 days a week, 24/7. Alright, the first pick coming in favor of VA Cat Plague, and we get a reversal from Solar Giraffe popping off, getting the link back onto Mejal. So this fight is still alive for Gallica to retake it. Oh,
4v4 Rain Pops as well. This is getting so exciting, but the kite is so good from VA Cap. Like, they only lose to Cassidy as they just walk back to behind the choke. And so we're going to basically just wait for our respawns, basically reset the fight. But this time it's VA Cat Play who have the lead on that support ult. So they'll probably try and finish off Rally or Annihilate and then walk with one of those and then have the Ray, if they need, as a continuation ultimate. This is a great spot for the Cat Plague to be in.
Agreed, and also for Gallica, they regain control of archways with all 5 of their players, and they can go right in with this big terror surge. Nothing to really stop besides the rally, and it gets expended and shut down almost immediately from the side of Gallica. Very nicely timed terror surge, even better. I love the peel that we did see from Soldier to come in and start getting active.
Indeed, maybe a stagger onto the Tracer. The spear connects, but the wall won't. So you're allowed to stay alive, at least for now. Moving off the Brig onto the Ana, you can't really brawl anymore, but you weren't really doing that anyway. Plus, you get a better ult, arguably, and a better cooldowns, definitely. So a nade, a sleep connects, and that's a 1 fight.
Oh, we're walking forward with this orbital race. Still a little bit more push back. We did leave Solar Giraffe a little bit by themselves. Couldn't rush back and kite out the same way the rest of Gallica really could have with their Juno. So being down 1, and now the point gonna be, or the cart, excuse me, be rushing right through the street phase of Kings Row relatively easily, and the fight is still ongoing. Deadeye is raiding some space, but the Duplicate is gonna be the first one to go forward for Kasuchu, duplicating onto the Ramatra, and should be able to build this Annihilation, is what I would say before getting slept. But look at the aggression spec, they're going straight back in the fight, back with 2 tanks at the helm of Gallica.
I mean, it's Muhammad Ali and Anthony Joshua when you got 2 Rams in the server. There's not a crazy amount that anyone can do against those fists. And so even though we are trading back and forth, it's still a numbers disadvantage, I believe, for VA Catplay. They've got to really clutch up if they want to keep the pressure high.
Speaking of clutching up, Medshot getting 2 picks, does get taken down by the turret, left ball by the Lonesome from Tropu. And Drunk Bandai getting so low multiple times, but able to stay alive just in the nick of time. Orbital Ray does get expended in the backside of the point here just for sustain. And that's enough for Catplay to realize, okay, we got back up and regroup. We have 2 minutes left on the objective here.
Yeah, that they do. Spear actually banishes Blue to a different dimension, but we'll be back in a hot second. Got the Annihilate, got the Nano Boost. EMPR Gallica need a huge Terror Surge, else they will just lose on the ultimates, and I think they know that, which is why they're backing up as far as they can.
Oh, the Terror Surge to pull back, annihilating Ramacha, but wasn't going to be enough. Good anti-nade, but I'm sorry, good defensive nade from
the Nano Juno?
Mosquitoes, but we nano Juno today. I don't know if it was maybe a misclick, maybe looking towards to Nano Blue, but despite nanoing a Juno, despite losing Blue, they're still able to push this fight, push this cart, and still stay in the fight longer.
Apparently, yeah, it's a weird little outcome here. I mean, the fight's still going, obviously, for EMPR Gallica. Minute 14 means the VA Catplay running out of opportunities. They've got an Orbital Ray turn, which they should use, but they've lost their Tracer, and Kidios is just 1 HP.
And Kidios also in a really precarious spot in that back area. But here comes an opposing orbital from the right side. Attention looking towards the left side of the point, meaning that they weren't really expecting that to come through. And Kasu is in a really unfortunate position. Could not rotate back to the team the right way. Gets called out by the front line of Cat Plague. Polsam should be able to look at over at the Brigida. Gets a stick and the kill off onto Solar Giraffe. And just like that, Spec, another series of unfortunate events going down and down. The dominoes fall over, and it's going to be Gallica having to back up and succeed the second objective towards Cat Plague.
Yeah, so time bank extension took them a little bit longer than maybe they would have wanted, and now you're stuck on Tracer on 3rd point, which, listen, I've been there. I know Tracer's fun, but like this hero just doesn't work here. So I'd love to see an adaptation from Mejdal, Echo, Genji, even another hit scan I think would end up being slightly more pliable on this phase of the area.
Ooh, huge pick on Cicados here that Tropu was able to successfully find. Jokpina spinning in. Doesn't really quite have the Terror Surge ready, but we do have both the Duplicate and the Molten Core ready for side of Gallica. So I would say, oh, Spazzy goes in, gets me started, finds a pick onto Kasuchu, and understand that I don't have to really wait for anything else. I can pop open with this overclock and start clicking some heads beautifully, forces supports to back up, and this card has now free reign to continue onwards.
That it does. And we'll see exactly how far it can get. EMPR Gallica's recontest is going to be pretty brutal, right? With 4 ultimates, you're only missing out that rally. VA Catplay, a lot of work. So do they want to clip the Ana? Or the Juno, rather?
Oh, and I think that was a Juno Jax. I don't know. I don't think it was coming through. That's massive. And the annihilation in the spawn room practically. We do get the Terror Surge on the cart from Drunk Mana, but is it going to be enough? Absolutely not. Despite all that, though, we are seeing this little bit of a cleanup from the side of the DPSs of Gallica. We still get the Nano off onto Spazzy to keep the fight all alive. Adil going up to the Kiriko, tries to get last minute touch, but the Kiriko Brig, the up and down time aren't the best for that back line, but they stall just enough for Drunk Mana to come back and get 30 seconds left on the clock here.
That was so close, but VA Catplay, unfortunately, probably should have pressed all their Q buttons as soon as they realized they had the Rage Axe, but unfortunately holding on to that Nano for a little bit too long means that they just got bled out by those better spawns of EMPR Gallica. 12 seconds left to go. They've got a touch. They have a very, very bad fight, though. Only a Pulse, maybe an OC. Actually, looking at it now, they've got the Ray, but it still feels very awkward.
We also go to a ball here, so the synergy a little bit off for the side of Cat Plague. But here comes the orbital. We do lose Kaidos, that's massive, but if we stay in the orbit, we can still play it off just fine, especially if Kaido is so low. Looking toward Junkman, who's also extremely low. We do get rid of the Risa. The fight is still ongoing. We get rid of 2 now for the side of Cat Plague. Newbin getting a pick with the torpedoes. Mejal so low, tries to go to the shields from Blue. Is able to find a little bit of that pressure, but this turret is not helping whatsoever, and neither is Blue. Hopping off the map and succeeding a 3-pointer. 2 points only for Cat Plague on King's Row.
Blues people needed him, it seems like. That place is to be. We had 3 self-deaths so far on this series.
I need a counter for that. I can't believe we have 3
I think
already.
we're two from Soda Giraffe, one from Blue. We'll see how the race continues the deeper on we get. At the end of the day, good hold from EMPR Gallica, especially on that end of that, Streets phase. That was fantastic from them. At the end of the day, though, as well, VA Cat Plague, I would still say, have won out that round. Right? They've got great progress. All they need to do now is not get full caps against, basically. And they will win out King's Row. So EMPR Gallica, still an uphill battle for them to attempt to tie the series 1-1. Else VA Cat Plague will be finding map and series point very, very quickly.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm still not over the ball going into the lava. But it is what it is. They did basically make it to third at the very least. So all they gotta do is just hold here for the next 4 minutes. Now, that's way easier said than done, of course, especially as Junkman does hover over the Junker Queen here. The backline gonna be comprised of the Brigitte and the Kiriko. Again, oh, that's what I thought. I don't play with them now. We're going over to the Juno Brig instead. Much better, ideally, for this composition.
Yeah, this is double flex, actually, with the Anna and the Juno for VA Cat Plague. So, again, so much healing resources. Juno Brig, though, as you mentioned, for EMPR Gallica. Drunk Banana, no cleanse. It's going to be very awkward for him, I will say.
Yeah, for that Rampage, he's so online, he's so free to get an opening pick here. But Blue on the Arisa already gets stuffed out a little bit by both Junkman on the front line and then Kasuchu up in the air with the Far, doing a lot of that spam rocket damage. But speaking of, you go a little bit too far out, Spazzy is always going to be there to get the last laugh every single time. Being down the Farah and the Juno, yeah, we get a trade-off, but the fight needs to be handled quickly, and a big quick reset for Gallica is in the works here.
Yeah, you've got to escape safely or to get taken down here if you're EMPR Gallica. Others in a bit of a weird spot. I think we're seeing here, Arisa with double flex, you can't die. You are functionally immortal. And so, an axe onto the... What is happening?
Junkman never actually led the objective even after losing pretty much 3 of their team members, and they're clearing out the high ground all by himself. And with the help of the rest of the team coming from the low ground from the spawn room, they clear the fight extremely easily. Poor Anna can't get out in the nick of time. Kasuchu finishes it right off, and that should be a full cap of the objective for Gallica.
Yeah, a swap over to the Diva I'm not a massive fan of, I think. It works, good for dealing with Kasuku, but you've got Spazzy on the Cassidy for that. I think you end up being a little bit harder on that frontline trade now, and I think we were on one of the best areas of the map for Arisa, but we'll see if this gamble ends up paying off. You're close to the Nano boost, and Diva, to be fair, does take that fantastically.
Ooh, alright, Blue getting really low there, has to get healed up really quickly, and the fight is still ongoing. Rampage is online here for Drunk Banana, and if you see all 5, that's a all 5er, and that is gonna be ideally the team wipe of the year. Oh my goodness, and like you said, no Suzu, no anything to cleanse it, makes it so much more difficult to deal with, and the stagger is gonna be demonic.
Honestly, that was relatively kind to do with the staggering the baby. Blue only gets to respawn, a couple of seconds after their teammates on a fresh wave, as you can see, but not the end of the world. VA Cat Blake have an Nano Blades. There's no rally here to contest this. They're really slow for it, so they're probably going to put everything into the hands of Meshal and see what he can find.
better be some slashes and some dashes. We're all looking towards Medjol for this massive, ideally, Nano Blade coming through. I don't want us to Nano our Juno again. Surely we don't, right? So we're going to see the Overclock instead of being popped up by Trap2, as we are on the high ground and putting a lot of pressure onto this corner here. No one can really beat this all little hallway we've made, and Junkman is just in there. But here, the Blade, no Nano to be seen. A little bit of a later pickup on the Nano. Medjol still quick and slicing and dicing in the backline, looking towards Trapu, and they find the pick anyway. Solar Giraffe gonna be a victim of the circumstances, and that is a recovery for a Cat play to retake their defensive position here.
Indeed. It took them a little longer than they maybe want, but they managed to find it. Remember, this is where EMPR Gallica were able to hold them for so long. So, I'm not saying that they're going to do the exact same, but it is definitely possible. The main threat is that there's another Rampage coming online eventually. We're going to trade Orbital Rays. The Rally will be used and find about the same amount of value as a Deadeye, very likely. Ooh, that's not where you want to be remacking.
Ooh.
I don't know what happened there.
Maybe just too much poke out and couldn't get the peel off. I mean, they were going in by themselves, getting refresh with the team here. Oh, yeah, that was an unfortunate self-destruct. But we had the high noon instead of maybe make up for it, maybe exploiting some heads like Kasuchu. I mean, the first one to go down to the aforementioned Deadeye. Orbital also ready, but no need to really proc it quite yet, as we should be able to at least finish up the fight now that this whole entire team of Gallica is down one. We do trade off our Genji for the Brig, but you lose a Genji, you side grab the Juno. It's okay.
Yeah, you'll take that at the end of the day. You managed to hold, but you did spend your arguably worst ults, to be fair, to win that fight. And so now for EMPR Gallica's strong fight with support ults, Queen ult, you only have a Ray, which gets counted out anyway by either their Ray, or even harder, by that Rampage, right, denying all that healing to all the players who have to be stacked up to utilize it. So what do you actually do if you're VA Cat play? Just mechanically pick somebody, I guess.
I mean, you gotta start hindering this Queen a little bit here. The Rampage is there to be seen. Kaidos comes in with the Orbital Ray, and as a clean, easy reversal is gonna be the Rampage in response to the Orbital Ray, but it doesn't really matter. Does it? We still have 3 on Junkman who's all by themselves. We are seeing Spazzy, not Spazzy, Trapu on the high ground, trying to put a little bit of pressure. We get another high noon in time? No. What do you mean?
Yeah, of course. Ultimate's just too good. So, I mean, great recon sets there from VA Cat play. They managed to make it through the storm, not unscathed, but they managed to keep that hold going, right? So EMPR Gallica, this next fight, it's kind of hard, honestly. VA Cat Plague have the defense matrix for either of these DPS ultimates, so you have to really figure out how you want to find this value if you're Kasuku and Tropu. As well, the Nano Boost is just turning the Diva into a cruise miss up a blue steam mech. You sausage, you can't go down.
No, there's no mech and also no self-destruct either to at least regain some sort of composure here. Overclock on the high ground, Tropu. I see where you have the vision. We also bait out the recall. We lose Diva. We trade out for the Pharah here. Kaido's narrowly escaping that rail shot by the skin of their teeth, but they're also in a really bad spot around the back of the opposing team here. As we do see the Nano does get expended onto Spazzy. Nubin finds their one on Junkman from the back though. Hold on, the fight is still ongoing and it gets cleaned up by Spazzy almost single-handedly.
Takes a Nano Boost and just moonwalks through. A lone gunslinger apparently, and EMPR Gallica just not fast enough to the trigger. Get the clear onto the soldier as well, and oh, perfect. So 15 seconds left to go. If there's a recontest from EMPR Gallica, it will be without your Sojourn, without your Overclock, and without your Juno as well. They jam the Choken. They will be able to win out this map. 2-0 here for VA Cat Plague as they lock in and a pristine defense of the second point to do it.
Wow. That was just... I was a little worried because Gallica was able to cap it so quickly and push through first so many times towards the end, but the Ana Juno, I have to say, beautiful backline. You know, there was some unfortunate, as this 5-man Rampage is so good, but there's some unfortunate, some destructs I really didn't get the value that was needed from Blue. There's a lot of times there were things that were picked off early on in the fight that should have gone in favor of Gallica every single time, but... Spazzy. I fear it's a Spazzy differential. I don't know. My man is locked in. It's him against the world at this point.
Yeah, some fantastic shots coming through, but we can't mention this without talking about the rest of VA Cat Plague as well, who are all in fantastic form. Personally, I was really taken by some of that support play, especially. I think they did a great job staying alive, finding their value, and just essentially being that kind of consistent, safe pair of hands for VA Cat Plague. Because whenever everyone on the back foot stayed calm, did their jobs, they carried on, and that's what made so many of those fights clutchable, turnable, by Spazzy showing up and hitting every single headshot.
I mean, the nano on Spazzy was the cleanup of the year on that second to last fight. And once they won that fight, they were like, oh, they only have 20 seconds left. Let's just run down alleyway and make sure they don't even touch the archway. And that's exactly what they did. Now, we're going to go to a very quick break between this map and possibly the third and final map here. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back with the possible finale of the Masters Winners Round 2 match here.
Lots of love. Lots of love. Love. Got lots of love. Love.
I'm not crazy, Malin. I'm not crazy, Malin. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. 40 years.
Carpe diem. Carpe diem.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but
And we're back after a very quick break. We have our map view selected. We're ready to go and see what can happen here. Will it be a 3-0 victory for VA Cat Plague, or will it be the start of a reverse sweep for Gallica? That's what we're here to find out right here, right now on Saravasa as our map 3 pick here.
Yes, indeed. It's been pretty one-sided so far. VA Cat Plague have been able to catch and throw back anything that EMPR Gallica have had to offer. And on Saravasa, we'll have to wait and see whether that continues. In terms of how the maps play, I gotta say, it's not the huge shake-up I was maybe hoping for. But some teams are just different on this map. For the sake of EMPR Gallica, I've got to hope that you are one of them. Of course, they'll have first ban as well. See exactly where they want to go first. Remember, a Queen ban is still on the cards here for VA Cat Plague. It's going to be something that they're thinking about. If not, a Kiri ban seems like a slam dunk. And there was no hero who was, I think, a humongous issue for them last time. Yeah, sure, the cast was strong. But was it strong because cast is strong? Or was it strong because, you know, we were seeing fantastic work from Spazzy on the hit scan? Well, we'll see. Because this time Spazzy, I assume, will be locking the Soj instead to see whether that's going to be any different in the value. VA Cat Plague, no DPS ban allowed, but still, Kiri open, Queen open. What do they want to head towards?
Gonna be the Queen here, and kind of inhibiting one of the best characters that Drunken does tend to play here. So why not? If you're on the cusp of a victory, just shoot your opponent in the ankle. Why don't you? In the kneecap, maybe a little bit. Make him a little crawl instead of walk a bit here. The Queen can be banned here. The Cassie also can be banned. Sparks, once again, putting on a spectacular performance on the character. And no Queen on Saravasa. I mean, we're likely going to be seeing either the Orisa or the Ram just come back from either side here. For sure. I mean, I feel like Orisa might be a little bit, might just out-edge Ram a little bit here on Saravasa just because of the way the points are structured. Palace, for example, great for Orisa. Ruins, for example, also great for Orisa, personally.
Yeah, I think Orisa's pretty good. I was just casting with founder of Expert Vione and famous EU Orisa merchant Rene. So I've seen so much Orisa on this map already. See exactly if it's going to pan out. They want to continue playing it, but it's very strong. I think that the only problem with Orisa is on first point. On markets, you don't find a crazy amount of value because you can't access the high grounds easily. You can't really jam the chokes easily. And you can't kind of take side space easily. But as soon as you get off of that, then you're really good. And even on that point, you're still like pretty fine. So I think it's something you absolutely can go towards if you so wish. Wait and see exactly what we see in server. Because if there's one thing I've learned from casting for 2.5 years now, I think, it doesn't matter what actually I expect to happen because something totally different is always going to appear.
Oh, always. And just like this, something totally different I haven't really seen yet from either side here. Drunk Banana actually on the Winston. Cat Plague still deciding. Looks like they're going to be going with the Orisa, a little more of a traditional comp with the Orisa, with the Cure Lucio backline from both sides here. I have to say, seeing Drunk Banana on the Winston, I'm actually quite excited for it, because I believe we saw that come out on... Excuse me. We saw Blue on the Winston earlier on Lijiang Tower, and Gaga kind of struggled against it with the Queen, so I want to see how they come up to the cards with their own Winston comp.
Yes, this is going to be pretty curious. Drunk Banana is going to get poked out here, so you need to go as fast as humanly possible. If you watched not the Spark, sorry, once again play in Hangzhou, you know exactly the kind of pace that you need to play at. So far, they see their enemy, and we should kind of already be seeing them go if they want to find a lot of success. The more they poke, the more value Blue will get.
we can kind of already see they are controlling the space here, and Adil so low and surviving somehow, some way to the exchange, but not very long. Not the hands of Mejao on this Tracer, who has been, again, I feel like an unsung hero a lot of times in these exchanges. Blue just kind of forcefully walking his way onto the objective and securing a kill onto almost everybody with the help of Kalos on the Lucio.
Very nice. I mean, it's an extended poke phase with Orisa v Winston. Unfortunately, it's much easier for VA Capleg, especially when they're playing double flex. Anytime poking is wasted uptime, essentially. So we really need to see them hard scout Spazzy, Kyrgios, arguably Nuben as well, and then just obliterate them on cooldown. That's what we have to be seeing. We have to see that pace. Any fast fight is going to be significantly in their favor.
Whew. Like you said, they're going for the poke phase again here, and they're trying to disrupt the rotation that we are seeing Gallica go through, which is around the long coastline. Not coastline, but you know, the long area where the Mega Pack is. In the back, the Mesh Hall is still like harassing the back line. And yeah, they're gonna be able to get the Mega Pack and do a little bit of you know, attention, pulling away some attention from the back, but Pulse does go completely wide here. Blue is gonna be going down to Tropu, who's on their own Tracer. Both things out of the fight, so it's now looking towards the DPSs to make something happen here. There needs to be a sound barrier coming in from Solar. No reversal of one from Capleg, as it's not really built up yet. No, Spec, find a way to stay alive in the fight. Overclock also gonna be committed here. Will it be enough as the point does flip over to Gallica? It's gonna be enough to get Solar Giraffe out of the fight though, but here comes Drunk.
Yeah, it's back, of course, but misses the bubble, I guess. So back finally on the objective, and pretty quickly bullied out. Pulse, nice try, man, but no bueno. I think that's going to be market in favor of VA Capleg, and they're still relatively comfortable going forward into these next fights. You've got the beat for the Blades. You can probably Terra Surge the Kitsune Rush, even. You're feeling pretty comfortable, especially heading towards Ruins, where, as you said earlier, Mott, it's super comfortable for the Orisa. How are you supposed to find backline scaling on the Winston? The answer is you're not. Drunk Banana over to the Diva.
Yep. And I don't mind it. I like the Diva with the Genji and the Kiriko Lucio. At least Tropu can slide out, get out of these disengages if need be, but Capleg has a variety of these checkmarks online already. I mean, having won over Gallica so far, they have the Terracers, and I think Blue might be able to find an early fight here, especially as we see a connecting Kitsune Rush. Big interruption coming in. The Terracers does take out one, but there's a blade happening in the backline that no one's looking at, and no one's dying to either!
Blue wiping the field out on this Orisa. 3 kills found so far, and surely you can pick up the Baby Diva as well for good measure. They stagger onto Drunk Banana, actually, it's pretty rude. It's pretty disrespectful. That's going to mean that the flip can come through absolute earliest for EMPR Gallica at like 60%. And that's to say nothing about the fact that VA Capleg have the only ultimate in the server right now. This Kitsune Rush on the back of Nuben. Choke control. I don't really see a way in for EMPR Gallica other than one of the DPS just finding an opening pick. Just mechanically differentiating somebody, because in terms of the macro, they are entirely outclassed right now.
Oh, but I love the high ground control, the high ground Gallica's trying to control here and forcing a very uncomfortable rotation from Spazzy. They are so low, gets called out, but we also trade off a flex support for a DPS, and you take that trade any day of the week if you are Capleg, and you're able to also just be like, you know what, we can't peel from the back, but we can at least go forward and kill the rest of the team of Gallica. Yeah, we lost somebody. Yeah, we lost, you know, our Sojourn, but at the end of the day, it's still looking in favor of Capleg, especially as we get a kind of a last-minute kill on Trouble, which we don't need at 86%.
We most definitely do not. So a touch is simply not going to come through. 2-0 here on Suravasa. Might be a squeaky clean flashpoint map for him. As Sojarov can't even touch in time, he won't be able to escape either. A rail on the back of the noggin is going to put that man down. And EMPR Gallica, unfortunately, their upper bracket run appears to be coming to a very abrupt halt as they run into the immovable object, the unstoppable force that is the Capleg.
I mean, that is Orisa, specifically. She is definitely one of the most immovable objects in this game. Despite thinking you have her, if she has someone looking at her to heal her, she is not dying instantly. That's exactly what's happening with Blue. Now we're going over to our next flashpoint without Nuben. for Cat Plague. They're forced to fight Gardens down one support, and this might be where Gallica can start getting their footing back here. They're fighting in a small room right above the staircase of Gardens, being pushed back by Blue, who has the Terror Surge, commits on the back line, did to the Suzu, and then does use the Sound Barrier instead from Solar Giraffe. Pulse-on completely goes wide. My Kiriko does survive the along a good boot, but that's not a respawn room anymore. Does not stay alive any longer. It's like just like Blue, it doesn't either. But again, it comes down to a point where yeah, your tank's gone, but the DPSs on Cat Plague can survive so well by themselves.
Indeed. That's some of the strengths of these players, especially playing heroes overall, like Soldier and Tracer. Genji as well, of course. These DPS can live for so long, and a Dink connected, but gonna find very little other than some extra ult charge heading towards Solar Giraffe. EMPR Gallica, 50% now. They are in the best spot they've ever been in Trophy. You need to live.
Needs to live for this overclock, and we put back both supports to help out in that regard, but it was all for naught. Spazzy does try to stay alive and goes for the overclock, but then it gets completely run down by Drunk Banana. Here, 2 critical ultimates happening in that small room. In the back, Spectron in the back of all this, we have recapped it for Cat Plague. They snuck right past the team of Gallica, get a little sneaky 20+% on the board here before finally falling like dominoes again, and Gallica realized, oh wait, we need the point back in our favor.
I mean, you have another touch because of that. As long as Blue doesn't die. Blue, you need to back off immediately. Expediently, in fact. Give up the space, it doesn't matter. You need to live and you won't. Oh, no.
Just gets booped around like a ping pong machine. They're not giving a touch either without anyone there. Oh, me when I lie. I might be the biggest liar in the world, but everyone's there to peel back and shut down Mesjal for trying to be a little sneaky Tracer once more. Overtime is activated. We're at 99%. We do get one last remaining touch here, but that is all that she wrote for Cat Plague on at least Gardens. We're moving on to a 4th round here of Suravasa.
Finally had a lease of life, and it's benefited them economically. 4 check marks heading into this next fight, and the GVA Cat Plague can compete, with Terror Surge, with the Sound Barrier. It's not the same, so for the first time in this series, really, it feels like EMPR Gallica got a proper foothold now in the game. They can now compete. And early pressure onto Drunk Banana, though, not exactly what they were hoping for. They might have to use one of these ults maybe earlier than they'd look for.
I mean, it's going to be Cat Plague on the objective first and foremost. They have that positioning. They have that... Ooh, not again. No, not like this. They try to get a sneaky pick off, but where we thought, Gecko was going to be down one here, they actually find one of their favorite onto Mesjal. And here comes the overclock from Chopu, and we're able to still get so much pressure put onto his Lucio 1v1 that is quickly turned to 1v2 that Kados will be losing in that regard. The character does get committed here, and so does the Kitsune Rush in a 2v4. Not sure if I really agree with that, but we at least have the Solar's Sound Barrier, so not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's not ideal for either side, but at the end of the day, you get first cap via Cat Plague. Oh, not first cap, you win the first fight rather. Via Cat Plague, 36% is almost what you get for winning a fight, so they're probably still pretty happy about this, all things considered. They're also walking in with double support swords OC, and they have a beat for the Blade of Kasuku. This is a really weird spot to be in.
Well, there's a Blade and a Sound Barrier coming in from Gallica, and even with all the extra protection, unfortunately, Solar Giraffe does not survive to see another day against Mesjal. Now on the newly appointed Genji here, 52% on the board in favor of Gallica at the same time, and they have to be so careful in how they approach this, because any moment, it could just go completely awry for Gallica, but it looks like they're going just fine. As we said, get another... Ooh, they lose one. Hold on. We're reversing it back in favor of Cat Plague here. We have the overclock ready for Spazzy, and they're going crazy!
Humongous value there, doing their absolute best is via Cat Plague to try and clutch things out. I can't lie, my feed is a bit of a slideshow, but it seems like they'll be able to get the flip.
They do get the flip here. They also have a couple. They still have the Kitsune Rush for Cat Plague from Nubin, and they're gonna have the Blade as well. EMPR Gallica, they need Drunk Banana to get this this self-destruct up and running, as we now take over to around 60% to around 80% of this possibly last and final objective here for Suravasa. No one's gonna commit anything quite yet, because Rush is still ready. They're waiting for everyone to come back here. Gallica is slowly but surely coming to this fray. This percentage is going closer and closer. Here comes the Dragon Blade, and there's a boot, but not for very long. That's 2-3 down in favor of Catplague. Overtime is activated, Spectreon, and no one can
There we
touch.
go.
It's a 3-1 for Catplague, resulting in a perfect, damn near perfect 3-0 in the series.
I mean, they lose very little. They lose first King's Row and one Flashpoint. You'll take that literally every day of the week. A clinical win from them, realistically, and dominance, showing why they are one of the top 2 seeded teams in this division. I mean, they show the ability to play multiple comps and execute on them well. You really can't complain. And so, moving forward in that winners final, then they are going to be in a fantastic spot to continue to be a huge threat. And for EMPR Gallica, unfortunately, still a lot to work on. It feels like there's still quite a lot of indecision. Maybe some ideas they haven't properly talked about, that when it comes to game day, they are experiencing a lot of problems with. And so, a proper discussion, maybe a VOD review, I think would do them a lot of good. That being said, of course, not out of the tournament yet, just knocked down to the lower bracket.
Absolutely. But in the meantime, we are going to get ourselves an interviewee from the winning team here just in a couple of minutes. So don't go anywhere as we get ourselves ready with that person and come back with a fresh interview in favor of Catplague. And welcome back, everybody. I am pleased to introduce Blue, the tank player on Catplague, and a fantastic flexible pool you have here, Blue. And we saw you on Ram, we saw you on the Arisa, we saw you on Winston, we saw you on all these different compositions. So I guess first and foremost, what was the plan today as you went into your round 2 match?
The plan was originally for me to actually play my main role, being Flex DPS. So that was something we found out, like, I think maybe like 15 minutes before the league game. But we have done games where I have played tank before. So it's like, okay, we've tried this before. It has worked to a degree. So Blue gonna play tank. I was like, okay, cool. I'm a avid Winston main when I play tank. I'm a Winston enjoyer. However, that character is kind of not good right now. Or at least, so I got forced onto boring characters instead.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, for me, I want to first ask, obviously your opponents were playing a lot of Queen, who's also probably considered one of the weaker tanks in the game right now. I've heard a lot of people argue kind of bottom 2 down there with like Roadhog, Reinhardt. What did you think about that composition? You know, how did you find playing into it?
I think the Queen comp works if you put in the time, you put in the practice. Luckily, we played a lot of Queen comp when it was meta, and then we played a lot of Has comp, which was very similar when that was meta. So we had an idea that even if what we were playing wasn't going to work, we could just mirror and out mechanics and win based off our overall macro. In regards to today's match, I think round 1, like map 1, being control Lijiang, me playing the Ram felt, obviously I was focused on the Queen a lot because I was like, I want the Queen to die. I'm a tank player. I'm like, if I'm the tank player alive, we're gonna win the fight. And then it got to Lijiang Gardens, and I kind of just switched to Winston. I just let the Queen walk past me, and I went, nah, it's my team's problem now. I'm just gonna stand and tickle the other 4. So that's why I felt probably so useless on Gardens, because I didn't actually do much. So thank you, team, for actually.
And a bit of a more silly mood then. So on your King's Row attack, obviously you guys didn't finish. Your what happened there? How do you end up standing off the map?
So basically, so the way the Wrecking Ball works, it's kind of like Winston, kind of not like Winston. So like what is it? Because Winston doesn't have control, so it has to have a control key. So it's like, I'm not used to it. Like, you know, like, what do you mean? Why am I shooting bullets when I could be shooting electricity? Like, who knows? Anyway, you didn't actually see that. That didn't happen.
It's a bug.
It was a bug. Exactly.
Yes.
Blizzard need to patch Wrecking Ball. Don't buff Wrecking Ball. Just patch him to make sure that whatever the stream saw doesn't ever get seen again.
Yes, absolutely.
Of course. And I guess
Lots of falling off.
we also just got the report of who your next opponent will be between Dream Eaters and Anomaly. It's gonna be Dream Eaters for your winners finals match, and it's shocker. And how, going into next week, how do you feel about that match? Do you guys feel kind of confident? Do you guys feel like it'd be maybe your closest one yet, or do you think it would be kind of be like another day in the park?
Dream Eaters are the only team in the entire tournament that have given us any trouble, and it's annoying because it's not even like the games have been close, but the scoreline have been 3-0s. So it's like they are the only, both teams said in the tournament drafting for the playoffs that it's this team that's gonna, Dream Eaters said it was us that was gonna give them problems. We said it was gonna be Dream Eaters. Everyone, both teams agreed it was gonna be a Cat Plague Dream Eaters final. We delivered. So that's good. We didn't get the rug swept out from under us. I think as long as we're able to play our game, we'll be fine. So we just need to get over that mental block.
No, yeah, for sure. And I guess, it's a little bit late. I'm gonna let you go with one final question, and that's just gonna be the shout out question for the stream. Who do you want to give a shout out to on the main broadcast?
Shout out Cat Plague. Shout out everybody. Thank you for carrying me today. I appreciate you. That's about it. Thank you, team.
No, of course. And we were so happy to interview you. Shout out to Cat Plague. This guy dying on ball at King's Row, right? I mean, what a guy.
That didn't happen.
It was a visual glitch, of course. Visual glitch.
You're bringing up glitches.
It's just a glitch. I'm so sorry. Yeah, of course, you're right, man. But otherwise, Blue, I'm gonna let you go. It was so wonderful to see you guys play today, and I hope to see you guys play in winners finals against Dream Eaters.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye bye.
And on that note, that's all we have for right now. Now, of course, as we go peek over at the schedule, there is a bunch of games happening, not just on CGL 1, CGL 2, CGL 3, Kunoichi CGL. We have a bunch of games between, you can see right here, going to be playing on today's broadcast, just in Season 15. But again, go also support Kunoichi CGO happening in just about 45 minutes. It is me, the first broadcast. Go support that tournament. All my friends over there as well, playing their hearts out in those 3 grand finals between the 3 tiers. Otherwise, tune in for all of these games happening later today. And we're of course making life a lot easier by going over and raiding for you. So you don't have to touch anything on your keyboard. Just chill there, let the raid take you where the raid takes you, over to our other finals match, or our other play finals match happening right here, right now. But otherwise, that is all we have, at least for now. I'm on Neva, that's Spectrion. Shout out to my producer, shout out to my observers as always. Spec, any last words before we give our viewers a new match to watch?
I've cost so much Overwatch today.
Oh, I know, buddy.
I'm a broken man.
I know.
We'll see you guys around.
You come in.
Peace.
Bye bye.